So this is Privoz market in Odessa, and as many of you know, I love markets in the former Soviet Union, and so I thought I'd come here and kind of show this kind of cornerstone of Ukrainian life in many ways, because this channel is about showing the nature of Ukraine. And I thought I would do it with my friend, American journalist who's living here in Odessa, Zarina, and walk through and just have a little chat and show you this very important part of Ukrainian life. So let's go check out the Rynok.
Hi there.
Odessa has been a primary target for Russian attacks throughout this war. And as I've discussed in other vlogs, this port city, the jewel of the Black Sea, has been fiercely resistant to the aggression. And few places show that attitude more than the Central Market, one of the largest in the FSU, not least because of Odessa's port status. Here you can buy anything, from pots and pans to clothes and homemade brooms to fresh produce, meats, cheeses, and anything you want pickled can be pickled. Underneath the open-air roof, it provides protection from the heat, if not missiles. Keeping the market functioning is its own form of resistance, to hold on to what is normal despite everything. But the war is never far away.
Well, here, and we're just at the entrance, we've seen a lot of funerary arrangements, flowers. It's not the most jolly way to enter such a fun and usually bright place. And what you see is among the artificial flowers right in front of us here is the funerary wreath in the colors of Ukrainian national flag. All the soldiers who would be buried here, and that's a lot. But we're gonna move past it, and here we'll hit the clothes area, and mostly they're just Chinese and Turkish cheap clothes. But we have a lot, look right here, the sailor shirts from Odessa and t-shirts. And it's a special fashion. Like on being Ukrainian, like very from simple Zelensky style to some elaborate.
And jokes and kind of rude jokes as well. Making that's a big thing.
Unfortunately, just
is particularly what I find funny interesting during this period of time is that a lot of these things are rude, and they're purposefully rude to be offensive to the Russians. So you'll find the Russian warship, go fuck yourself. You'll find all sorts of kind of middle finger to Russia kind of messaging.
Because while the emphasis in this bustling market is foodstuffs, you can pretty much find anything.
Produce. Here is fresh pomegranate. Okay. So this guy here will press his pomegranate. Можно одно стакан? Два. If you want one.
Yeah, sure.
Would you like one? Because generally, Zarina, and I think you'll agree with me here, generally these markets around the former Soviet Union, what they do is they'll have sections. So you'll have the clothing section, you'll have the, technical stuff. You'll have, obviously here we've got the fish.
Now, dried fish can be found in nearly every market in Ukraine, particularly in Odessa, of course. It's a decidedly unique flavor, the saltiness of the drying process making it perfect to go with beer.
So then in addition to the saltiness, you can also get this kind of salting and preserving where it's sliced and it's still a little bit fatty. You can still get the kind of oil, the fish oil off of it, but it's dried for preservation. And then of course this is that's squid. That is calamar. That's calamar. That's squid. And so dried squid. Again, most of this mostly for beer drinking. I mean, in a big way.
Sometimes some could be. It's aperitif. It's Ukrainian aperitif.
Yeah.
So there's one thing that we should mention, that right now there is no fishing in the Black Sea because
everything's mined and it's too dangerous.
In Kakhovka,
Right.
New Kakhovka Dam, and everything was poisoned basically, and for a very long time.
And then my favorite, as many people who follow my channel will know, is the pickle section. Anything that you can possibly conceive of being pickled, they will pickle in this part of the world. So you get, of course you get cucumbers, but you also get, well, there's tomatoes. Oh, kimchi. Get the kimchi. Kapusta, называется kimchi. Korean kimchi, even you can get here. Clearly the tomatoes, pomodori, cauliflower there. And of course, you gotta have pickled garlic. Что? Baklajan.
So the eggplant with a lot of garlic on top. This is just really, really good. And my personal favorites are those slightly salted pickles. They're not really pickles. They're almost like fresh. And I'm gonna get
the malasolny. So little salted is what this is called. This is очень вкусный. That's my favorite. My favorite as well. Where it's almost fresh, but there's a little bit of salt to it. Yeah, of course I'll try. Well, I'll try with. Можно попробовать, будь ласка? Мы снимаем теперь, но вернусь и покупаю, я обещаю. Oh man, it's still so fresh.
And it's an art.
But there's a little bit, finding that equal line behind just a little bit of salt, and then the cucumber. And you can get all kinds of different grades. So like you can get, again, the little, just slightly salted, all the way down to things that have probably been in a brine, potentially weeks, months, maybe even. I mean, this is how, and pickling stuff is an important part of this part of the world because you have heavy seasons where you're not able to get fresh food. So this is a way of preserving as well, as also just being really, really tasty.
And just down from the pickles, you can find homemade wine. The Black Sea region proudly proclaims itself to be the birthplace of turning grapes into booze.
Домашнее вино. Прекрасно. Вкусно, я уверен.
Don't forget that it's a tradition. Like I said, it has been like this for hundreds of years as a culture in Ukraine. In Odessa, it's at least 100, I think 120. Like from the beginning of Odessa, there were marketplaces where they would bring all the produce.
Yeah.
So it's been here all along, and it probably will be here
long
as
after, long after you and I are here. Yeah, that's right.
Try?
I love this. This is called chuchela, and it's walnuts, generally walnuts, that are dipped repeatedly into fruit syrup, and the generally grape, but yes, dipped into the syrup that then eventually kind of solidifies around the walnuts and makes for a very natural and delicious candy, in essence. Children love them, and I love them. And if you get a chance, if there's a place that sells, food from the Soviet Union, you might very well find this because it's a real delicacy. Do you enjoy these, or is this not your kind of thing?
No, it is my childhood memory because when I was a kid, we had this family who would come and visit from Georgia, and they would cook all the Georgian cuisine. And around holidays, we would have them hanging in my kitchen when I was a child.
This is kind of more traditional how the chuchela is stored and hung, because you can see the string here where they and so from the string here, this is where they do the dipping into the syrup that then congeals onto the walnut, and you can have different flavors. Какой вкус? Разный вкус. So this is cherry. The red is like cherry. This is pomegranate. Это что?
Kiwi.
Oh, so kiwi. This is kiwi. Why? Такая международная. И вот этот желтый? This is pineapple. These are great.
But if you want the more confectionery style of sweets, well, you can find that here too, because Privoz has a little bit of everything, from spices to nuts, dried fruits,
Сухой fruit. So you'll find this also
to even
in
the
markets,
kitchen knife
quite often in the former Soviet Union.
or grandma's honey.
О, так вкусно. И это ваши сладкие, да? Хорошо, очень вкусно, очень сладкий. But I mean, look at the size of this place. This is big, especially for what's going on with the war right now. And it goes much further into all the different things that you can buy. But unlike my local market is Bessarabsky market in Kiev. And sadly, it's been absolutely decimated by the war, and it's just not working well. But this is really fully functioning.
Yes, full. And what's interesting that throughout the war, it never closed. I came here in April 2022, so I got my accreditation, and it looked exactly like this.
So it never shut down?
It never shut down. Maybe shut down for one day for cleaning, but it does not shut down.
Well, and this goes to the point that this isn't a farmer's market. This is part of the daily life of people in Ukraine. And without it, people would really be hard-pressed to continue surviving. I mean, it's not only is it fresh, but it's cheap. It's affordable because you don't have a lot of overhead. So, people, you can't close down the market here because it would be devastating for local people.
I also think it's the morale, because you can go to a supermarket and buy all of this, but the real Odessites would be devastated, and it would probably a big blow on the spirit, unlike the Russian missiles, to not have Privoz.
Yeah.
You must go to Privoz on the weekend. That's a part of life.
Well,
grapes, they used to have a lot of them in Crimea too. They probably still do, but we can't try it.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how much of this is limited now because of the war, getting produce. But most of this is going to be fresh from the oblast. It's going to.
Yeah, this is from here.
This is.
Grow tons in Odessa Oblast, Mykolaiv Oblast, and even in Kherson, although there it's becoming very hard because everything is mined, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Agricultural work. Mining is a big issue.
Whether it's mines or any of the other numerous threats in this time of war, Privoz is still a major draw for those wishing to sell their goods, and they come here to do it.
It's about a 6-hour drive from here, Vinnytsia. But they'll come here because this is one of the most famous and largest markets in all of Ukraine. So
Privoz provides for the local people, and in many ways, not just in terms of shopping, but as a means of escape and a way to keep community alive.
I work a lot, and when I get really tired, I just walk here. It's 15 minutes from my house, and I just hang out and try some malasolne and just talk to babushkas, and you find out a lot of interesting things talking to people. Like a lot of these ladies' husbands and sons are in the army, and they will share it with you when you talk talk to them.
Yes.
And they also have their own forecasts. They're like best military analysts. And also there's a joke about Privoz. So whenever there's a missile, everybody in Privoz knows where it's coming from and where it's going.
So it's the nerve center of Odessa.
It's a heart. It's a heart. It's a brain. Yeah, it's Privoz.
Yeah.
Cheeses and
Yeah, let's do the meats and cheeses and stuff. Okay, so this you can tell is already it's a very different vibe in here. We're now indoors and they're selling cheeses and
cheeses.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Такая красота. Красивый такой.
Art here. They have cow and sheep and also goat feta cheese.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that.
Brinza.
Sour cream. Ага. Это похоже рикотта или как это?
А вот это творог, масло домашнее.
Delicious.
And then we're getting into the
the meat section
and
now.
I'm not because I don't eat meat
And the smell probably isn't very nice.
And the sight is not. So I'm gonna let you kind of.
Okay, I'll go hang out. Where do you want to meet?
By the cakes.
I'll meet you by the cakes. Okay. So as a vegetarian, she didn't want to come with me to check out the meats, but this is one of my favorite parts of any market, and that is the cured meat section. Generally, obviously they'll do fresh meat as well. So there are butchers here, but then in addition to that, there are all these cured meats that you can get. Basically kind of bacon and sausages and things of that nature. And I love it. I love the bacon. Здрасте, здрасте. Я вернусь, снимаю первый. But it's, you know, this part of the market is also pretty special. So it's just another version of how you can absolutely get a little bit of everything at these kind of markets, and it's an example of how much this is an integral part of life in Ukraine. Так, попробуй немного, будь ласка. С перцами это?
Есть красный перец, паприка, есть соленый черевочек.
Ага.
Также внизу чесночок и перец. Самое бомбезное сало.
Oi. So that is garlic and pepper, kind of like bacon.
Соленое сало с чесночком, перчиком добавление.
Нарезанный, возможно. Нарезанный. Можно?
Конечно.
Окей. Окей. Снимаю первый, я вернусь. Это я возьму. So I told her I'm going to film first, and then I'll come back, and I'll get some bacon from her with pepper and garlic, which is lovely. That's crazy. And it's копченый, да? I mean, it's just now some of these cheeses you'll notice obviously are created in a factory or a dairy because they're packaged, but you do get stuff that's made at home. Selling them, so you get all sorts. You get homemade stuff, and then you get stuff sold from local factories.
Exactly, Phil. Like over here, like these rows, all homemade.
Over there, домашние сделал, да? Сам делай. So he makes his own. These are his own cheeses.
This is like baked cottage cheese, and this is very, very special. Oh my God.
Yeah. And again, the guy knows what he's doing. He's giving out samples willy-nilly because he knows that if he gets us addicted,
Oh, I am addicted. I'm buying that.
we'll you know. These are smart people. They know how to sell their wares.
Odessa to me is like this big, beautiful, lazy, nonchalant cat that is asleep on this hot pavement, and everybody loves it. And there's a cult of cats here because it's a seaport, so there's a lot of mice and rats, and the cats also work here. And everybody, like in my yard, there are about 10 cats. Everybody feeds them, and in winter, when it's really cold, they take cats to apartments so
Yeah.
they don't get cold.
Cats like Shurek, whose owner fled the war, but who's been adopted by the entire market. They even paid for his veterinary costs when he lost a leg, because Shurek still has work to do at Privoz.
Does he still get mice?
Wow. He's
Он
so
драчун
brave.
сильный.
He doesn't just catch mice, but he also would attack dogs.
And keep the
confront
dogs away
them.
from the food?
Yeah, and he loves.
Now, lest you think this is all frivolous and where's the war? Well, that's the point. Outside the market, the scars are unavoidable. No one is left untouched. Every day, people walk past burnt-out hulks of buildings or have days interrupted by air raid sirens and smoke rising above the city. But here in Privoz, Odessans fight back by grabbing at what remains positive and affirming in their lives.
There's so much life here. And even when the Russians try and bomb it and take it away, it can't be taken away. It's the strength and the resilience of the Odessan people, which is everywhere in Ukraine, but everybody does it in their own special way. Here in Odessa, they resist by dancing the night away, or from having lovely markets, or taking swims in the Black Sea. So I hope you've enjoyed our little stroll through Privoz Market. I hope it shows you a little bit of the flavor of this wonderful city, and shows you that these are just people. They're normal people who don't deserve what's happening to them. And just like any people around the world, they like to eat, they like to dance, they like to swim, they like to enjoy life. And as much as the Russians try and steal it away from them, they can't do it. So as I always close out my vlogs, Slava Ukraini,
Героям слава!
вот так.